Okay, so we actually have a quiz and a test this week.
What is this lesson called?
And then a quiz next week.
Whoa.
And then it's
fail.
Yes.
Nah, you just got a Christmas tree. You gotta get in the Christmas spirit on exams. Yeah. Christmas tree.
Okay, so
You know Christmas tree?
our quiz tomorrow will be on graphing linear inequalities, which is what we started before Thanksgiving. That will be tomorrow's quiz. Okay, it will be a short quiz, less than 30 minutes. Okay, the test will be on, let me see, what day do we have class? It'll be on Thursday. The test will be Thursday. That will be on graphing inequalities that we learned last week, plus what we're going to start today. All right, it's not that much actually. It's actually pretty straightforward and simple. So let's just review what we learned before Thanksgiving. Okay, so we were graphing linear inequalities. So if we had something like y is less than 2/3 x minus 1. Okay, this is what we did before Thanksgiving. Okay, so who remembers what we have to do? We're going to graph the line. We're going to act like, to start with, we'll act like it's just a normal line. We're going to graph the line like that. Okay?
So don't you put a dot at -1?
Okay.
Y,
Yeah?
and then you go up to and over 3 to the.
Good. Yeah. Up to over 3. So that's how we would graph the line. Now, when we graph this line, we look here. This is just a less than. We do not have a line under there. So what does that mean to us?
It means that it's not equal to.
It's a dotted line. Yes, it's a dotted line. So it's going to be like this. And yes, Sophia, that's correct. It means it's not equal to. Right. And that's why we make it a dotted line, to indicate that it's not equal to. Okay, now what do we have to do? Like, what makes it different than just graphing a line? Yeah, we have to shade it. Where am I shading? Below or above? Below, how do I know that? Because that's a less than, right? Less than means below. So we're going to go ahead and shade everything below like that. And we're good.
Wait, that's all we have to do?
Yeah, sort of. I might ask questions like this, like, is the point -1, 3 a solution?
Does it have to be a point in that shaded area?
I don't know. Does it?
If it is a solution.
If it is a solution, it has to be in the shaded area. Is this in the shaded area?
Yeah.
Where's -1, 3?
Right.
-1, 3.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's not. So no, this is not a solution. Okay. So name a point that is a solution.
Positive.
-4, -4. That's going to be close. It looks like it is. Can you give me one that's clearly +4? There you go. That's obvious. So when I ask for you to give me a point that's in the solution, pick one that's very obvious. Okay? That way, if your line's a little bit off, it's not going to matter. Like if I drew this line just a little bit off cockeyed, I'm not sure that that's actually a solution. Okay? How about the point 0, -1? Is that a solution right here?
I mean, it's on the line.
It's on the line,
But it's not in the
but it's a dotted line.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if it's on the line and the line is dotted, it is not a solution.
but if it's solid.
If it was a solid line and it fell on the line, then yes, it would be. There you go.
This one's not.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, let me do one more, and then we're going to do the new stuff. Okay, so let's see here.
Is the new stuff gonna be on the quiz?
No, but it will be on the test. Okay,
So we're not
So
gonna
the
have.
quiz is just this.
right. We're ready for the quiz, but because it's the day after Thanksgiving, I didn't think that was very nice. So that's why the quiz is going to be tomorrow.
So there will be no quiz for the new stuff we're learning, just the test.
Correct. Okay, so let's do y is greater than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 3. I'm going to have you do this by yourself first. Okay. That's kind of fun sounding music.
Want us to do the point thing or just graph it?
Just graph it. Okay. So let's see here. Tori, what would I do first?
You would make it into an equation, so you like make an equal sign,
Okay.
and then you would first graph 3,
Okay, there's my y-intercept, and then
and then you go down 1 and to the right 2.
good. Down 1 and to the right 2. Does everybody understand what we did there?
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Wait, could you?
Yana, what are you lost about?
Maybe it's just because I don't have my numbers. Never mind, I know it.
Okay. Sophia?
Could you go up 1 and to the left 2?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that's what.
Okay. Okay, Hunter, what do I do now? Okay, is it dotted or solid? Why is it solid, Hunter? Caden?
There's a line under the.
Yeah, since there's a line right here, that means it's equal to also. So when there's a line there, it's a solid line. When there's a line, there's a line. Okay, when there's no line, it's dotted. Okay, so we'll make this a solid line. Okay. Okay, Jakaya, where do I shade? Above or below? Above. Why? Ronnie, why am I shading above? It's greater than. Yeah. If it's greater than, we shade above. If it's less than, we shade below. Okay? This is what tomorrow's quiz will be on. So when you have a problem like this on the quiz, this is how my grading will be, right? I will be looking, okay. I'm going to split it into parts. You're going to receive points for graphing the correct line, right? So you receive points for graphing the line. You'll receive points for dotted or solid, right? So that's what I'm going to look for that also. And then you'll receive points for the shading. So there'll be 3 parts to grading each problem, right? If the problem is worth 9 points, then 3 points for graphing the line correctly, 3 points for solid or dotted, 3 points for shading, okay? And then I will probably ask you questions like, is this point part of the solution? Okay. Okay. So that will be tomorrow's quiz. So today we're going to move on. And we're going to graph what we call systems of inequalities. Okay, we learned how to solve systems of equations, right? We use the elimination method, we use the substitution method. Who remembers if I had a system of equations, how would we solve it graphically? If I had a system of equations, how would I solve it graphically? Do you remember?
What systems of equations?
System of equations is when we have two equations,
How would you graph it?
right? So if I had 3x plus 2y equals 6 and x plus y equals 8, how would I solve that system of equations graphically?
Oh, not the subtraction.
No, that's algebraic. That's true. Algebraically we could use the elimination method or the substitution method, right? That's doing it algebraically. But graphically, do you remember, Grady?
Don't you have to like isolate the y's by itself?
And then do what?
Just graph it?
So what I would be doing, right? I would be graphing the two lines and then looking for that point of intersection. That's how we solve a system of equations graphically. Remember that? That's what we did in the very beginning of the systems lesson. Right? We graph the two, and wherever they intersect, that's the solution. One solution, right? So a system of inequalities is going to be similar, but not quite the same. Let me see here if I can give you an example. Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to give them to you in the correct form to start with. I'll already have the y isolated. Let's do negative 1/3 x. Y is less than or equal to negative 1/3 x plus 3. And y is greater than, do a different color, is greater than x minus 1. Okay. So what we're going to do, just like with systems of equations, we're going to graph both lines, right? With systems of equations, we had to graph each line, and then we look to see where they intersected. So we're going to graph each inequality. So I'm looking at a y-intercept of 3, and it has a slope of negative 1/3, so I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 3. Or we could go up 1 and to the left 3. There's a line under it, so that means it is a solid line. Okay. And I need to shade, so I'm going to change the color of my marker here. Okay, and it's less than or equal to, so that means what?
It's below.
Shade below. Okay. Oops, that's really dark. I'll slow down so that you guys can catch up. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to explain it. You're confused about the shading?
No.
That's really too dark, isn't it? You can't see your line. Oh, let me do this. How about that? Will that work? There we go. Okay. Okay. Anybody have a question about what we've done so far? Okay.
It's the same thing that we did before.
It's the same thing. I just graphed that line, that inequality right there. Okay, let's do the other inequality.
What's with the 3 dots?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's do the next line, right? Let's do this. Oops. Okay, we've got a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of 1/1. So I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 1. Everybody follow that?
Wait, hold on. What?
I'm graphing this line, this inequality right here.
Okay, what's with it? Oh, okay, never mind.
We're graphing it on the same graph, okay? So first we graph the top one. That's the one that's in pink. And now I'm graphing the bottom one. That's the one in blue. Okay, this is also a solid line. Oops. Okay. This is also a solid line. Okay. This is greater than or equal to. So what does that mean?
Wait, what was the question again?
It's greater than or equal to. Jakaya, you have a question for me?
Yeah. How'd you end up on the line? Because wouldn't it be 1?
How'd I end up on the line? I'm not sure I'm following you. Say it again.
Because you go down 1 time,
Right.
and then for x, how do you get?
So the slope is 1/1. So I went up 1 over 1.
So it's just like x by itself.
Right. Okay. So this one is greater than or equal to. So what does that mean?
It's going to be above.
Above. Yes. So we're going to shade above.
In a different color?
Yes. You want a different color, if possible. Okay. So we shade above. Okay. Okay. When we graphed the system of equations, right, we were looking to see where the two lines intersected. When we graph a system of inequalities, we're looking to see where the two shaded regions intersect. So the solution to the system of inequalities is this area here where the two shaded regions intersect. Let me see if I can get another color here. Okay, so they intersect here.
Oh, like that.
Okay, it's where they intersect. So where the two shaded regions overlap, in fact, I like to go back, if possible, and erase that other stuff. This is my solution right here. This little wedge here. Okay, it's where the two shaded areas overlap. That's the solution to my system of inequalities. So name a solution point. -1, -1. That works. -1, -2. I think it would, but again, that's one of those questionable ones. So pick something that's obvious, like maybe -3, 1. 1, -2 will not work because it's right here. It has to be in the shaded area. 1, 2 will work. The other one is not 1. The other one would be -1.
The one this one going up?
Okay, 1, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, so when we're solving systems of inequalities, Hunter, what's my first step when I'm solving a system of inequalities?
Graph the formulas.
Graph it. Yeah. First step is to graph each inequality. Okay? Okay. Tony, I'm going to give you another one. You ready? We're going to do, here we go. Y is greater than or equal to negative 3x minus 2. And y is less than x plus 2. This is my system of inequalities. Okay, system of inequalities. I'm going to give you a minute to copy that, and then Tony's going to tell us how to do this. Okay, Tony, how do I start this? Yep, negative 2 there, good. Say again? No, I go up 3 and to the left 1. Rise over run, up 3 to the left 1. Okay, so now I have that. Is this a solid or a dotted line? Solid line, good. So there's my solid line.
Wait,
Yes, sir?
you can't go down?
Yeah, I could go down and to the right. Yes, I could. Okay. Yep. Okay, now I have the line graphed. Mason, what would I do now? The line is graphed. Shade which side? Above or below? Anybody? Above, because it's greater than. So we're going to shade above. Again, if you have colored pencils, that would be great. If you don't have colored pencils, what I do sometimes is, like, I just make lines going different directions. So if I didn't have a colored pencil, I'd go like this with my lines. And then the next one I graph, I'm going to go a different direction with the lines. So you can see where they overlap. Okay. Okay. So if you have colored pencils or highlighters, right? Okay. Okay, so that's the blue one. Let's do the red one. Okay, let's do the red one. Brooke, what would I do? Good. Put a point on positive 2. And then what? Zanai? What would I do now?
1.
Up 1 over 1. Good. Okay. So is this a dotted or a solid line? Dotted line, yes. Okay. And then we have to shade it. Caroline, which side do I shade?
Shade below.
Below, right.
Looks like this. Christmas colors. She is so cool. It's Christmas, guys.
Okay, so we shade above. Now what you need to do, Now you need to go back and you need to change it so that we can clearly see the solution area. So it's where the two shaded regions overlap. So it's going to
matter the line, like if it's shaded or not shaded, if it's dotted or solid.
It does matter, yes. So let me just finish this and I'll show you. Okay, that's my solution space, right? I'm going to go back and I'm going to erase this stuff so that you can see it clearly. Okay, there's my solution space. So it does matter. So if you notice, right, these points on the dotted line, these are not part of the solution. Down here, this point that falls on the line is part of the solution. Okay, so the dotted or solid does matter. So when you're doing these systems of equations, it is possible, like we have in this case, that sometimes when it falls on the line, it is a solution, and sometimes when it falls on a line, it's not. So in this case, if it falls on the line, on this part of the line, this blue one, it is part of the solution. If it falls on the dotted line, it's not part of the solution. Okay, great question. Okay, any questions? Right. Sometimes you can have more than two inequalities for the system. So let's just pretend, right? Let's just make another one. Let's say that we have y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. Okay? Y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. So here I'm adding a third equation or inequality. So we've got -3, a slope of 1/2, so up 1 over 2. Right? So there's my line. Okay. Okay, paying attention, right?
Yes, of course.
So this time I have 3 inequalities in my system. So when I graph this, y is greater than, so I'm going to shade above. Right, above. So where do all 3 intersect? In this space here.
Oh, that's a lot of colors. They really should be Christmas colors.
In this space right here. Right?
So there could be more than 2?
There could be more than 2, yes. So now you can see the solution is just that little chunk there. Okay?
Oh.
Yep, that's the solution, that little chunk right in there.
That's a lot of lines and dots.
Okay? Okay, so it's not hard, right? It's really not hard. I mean, if you can graph a line, these are pretty simple. Okay? All right, so I have a worksheet for you to practice. You're going to complete the worksheet and then upload it to Google Classroom.